Bonjour. All week I've been channeling La Voix de la Français. I've been inspired to eat cheese for breakfast, dip my croissant in my morning coffee, eat baguettes, wear a beret. Now I can't really pull off a beret, nor can I wear one properly. But I have been able to test this Peugeot 5008 GT Sport this week to see how it suited my family life. So stay watching to see what I've discovered. The 5008 GT Sport will cost you around $62,000 before on-road costs. Now that's reasonable value for money because it does offer the flexibility with its 7 seats and is a highly specified model, which offers some lovely luxury features. Some of those features are the Napa leather seats, heated front seats, panoramic sunroof, retractable sunshades, and 19-inch alloy wheels. And my favourite feature by far is the massage function on the driver's seat. Yes, you heard that correctly, you get a massage while you drive. It's a reasonably compact 7-seater and more in lines with the Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace or Honda CR-V. In this pearly white colour, it sort of reminds me of a Stormtrooper helmet. It's chunky and boxy, but surprisingly, the heavy use of black plastics, accents and roofline sandwich this wide body panelling, making it look far sleeker than what it actually is. It's quite a solid shape, but the checkered grille, sharp LED daytime running lights, plus that classic Peugeot claw brake light give it some sexy style cred. But the exterior doesn't get all the looks. It's the interior that will excite. The dashboard is really interesting with the mixed use materials and there's some lovely detailing in there. Plus, at night, the cabin comes alive with blue ambient lighting. The space up front feels really good. You do feel like you're up quite high though, because there's not heaps of headroom given how everything else feels so generous. There are some things that make the finish feel under-executed, like the big gaps underneath the dash. I can fit pretty much my whole hand underneath there. The storage is good. You have quite a large middle console here, and with what looks like a bottle holder space. The glove box, while shallow, also has a deep little cubby in there as well. There's quite a big cubby in front of the E-shifter here for your phone and wallet and whatnot, plus another little cubby on the side. Your 2 cup holders, but they're fairly close together, so larger cups are going to rub against one another. You have good sized storage bins in each door and a large drink bottle holder as well. The quilted Napa leather seats are an absolute highlight and honestly the headline act for the interior. They're very comfortable, they have excellent knee and lumbar support and they're heated, which is great. I was disappointed though that the passenger side is still a manual adjustment and the driver's side. You will be spoiled. It has memory function, but it also has a massage function, which I thought would be fantastic during a long trip or a short trip. Really, since I've discovered it, I've had it on all the time. The 10-inch touchscreen multimedia system takes a little bit to get used to, and I found it a bit clunky to use. I don't like that you also have to access it to change your climate control up front, but it does have built-in sat-nav, which is always handy. Has wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It was really easy to connect my iPhone 8 Plus to it. But I don't like that there's a trailing cable in an otherwise sleek console. I am loving the steering wheel. It's very cool. And I like how small it is. It kind of feels like you're driving a race car, which is nice. But I do have to position it quite low because it cuts off the instrument panel when it's up in its normal height. If you're considering any Peugeot model, make sure that you can get it into a comfortable position because some drivers can't. The width of the seat and the legroom is fantastic, but again, headroom is just not awesome. My tall parent sat in the back and just felt a little bit vertically cramped, which is something to consider if you're regularly transporting, taller adults or teens. I really like the retractable sunblinds. I think they're always a handy feature to have in a family car. However, I did find that the view for my 5-year-old was a bit hindered because of the taller windowsills. But the height of the car meant it was easy for him to climb in and out of, which was great. You have practical kick plates for little feet, plus map pockets, and a drink bottle holder in each door. but you don't have an armrest or cup holders back here. You do have directional air vents with climate and fan control, but they are positioned at the back of the middle console, which means if you do have a middle seat passenger or car seat, they're not going to be as efficient as what they could be. My son loved these picnic trays. He made use of it whenever he was in the car, for drawing or for snacks. But because there's no reading lights in this middle row, did mean that when we travelled at night, he didn't get that much use out of it. I do think the designers missed an opportunity to maybe incorporate some built-in cup holders and make them a little bit more adult-sized. But I do like that you have 2 USB-A ports back here, so backseat passengers can stay charged up too. The backseat is made up of 3 distinct seats, and they fold as such. And it means it offers more space than normal, which is great. Unusually, this has 3 ISOFIX mounts, where normally they're reserved for the outboard seats. It also has 3 top tether child seat mounts, and with the right car seats, I'm really confident you'll be able to fit 3 side by side. I sat back here with 2 car seats, and I actually had enough room for myself to be comfortable. It was pretty easy fitting my harness booster seat in here, and I really liked that the top tether point position is quite high and not low like it can be on some SUVs, so it meant I didn't have to climb into the boot to secure it. I just had to reach over, which was great. There is ample room for front occupants when a 0 to 4 rearward facing child seat is installed too, which is awesome. There is a third row, but I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to squeeze back in there. My ego took a bit of a hit when my 5-year-old kept on laughing at me the first time. I would be considering them sometime seats, like you would the Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace, because they're really only suitable for short trips and for small kids. The boot is large and comfortably holds a lot of gear. There's a 12-volt port and a very shallow cup holder that I think on a sharp turn will spill its contents, but there are some reading lights. And unlike pretty much any other 7-seater, you can remove the third row completely, giving you some extra space if you need it. You just have to be able to store them in your garage. I don't like how flimsy the cargo floor cover is, but the middle row can be folded in thirds, and there's a handy gap filler to make the floor completely flat, which is great. You have a spare tyre underneath the body, but that's about it for the interior, folks, so let's jump in and drive this lion. The GT Sport has a surprisingly small engine for such a big car, but it more than delivers. The turbo-petrol is eager to jump to it when you put your foot down, and I really like how responsive it is at lower speeds in stop-start sort of city traffic. But it's also really at home on the highway. It's been a real pleasure to drive this one. The suspension feels on the firmer side, but you're not wincing when you go over bumps, which is good. And it holds its own in corners where there's not much roll. So you're going to be confident when you tackle bends in this. Unfortunately, you do get quite a bit of road noise in this, and it is loud enough that you can't really ignore it, but you are soon distracted by the cool interior. It's been pretty simple to park, and the front and rear sensors feel accurate. However, I was disappointed by the camera system. On paper, the 360-degree view, front and rear cameras should have been an ace, but the view is pretty blurry for a car at this price point. The official combined fuel cycle is 5.6 litres per 100 kilometres, and I achieved 7.8 litres per 100 k's on a mixture of city and open road driving. It was higher than I expected considering the longer trips I did do this week, but you do have the compromise with the turbo petrol, and it is a small engine powering quite a big car. The GT Sport comes with some of the safety features I'd expect for a car at this price point, including adaptive cruise control, lane keeping aids, blind spot monitoring, AEB with pedestrian and cyclist detection, forward collision warning, as well as electric child locks for the rear doors. I was a bit disappointed to find that this doesn't have rear cross traffic alert, which is always good to have in an SUV. This has a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating, but was done ages ago in 2016, and it was based off the 3008 model, not this one. The 5008 only comes with 6 airbags, and unfortunately the third row misses out on curtain airbags, which is a real shame. The GT Sport comes with Peugeot's 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is standard for this class, as well as 5 years roadside assistance. There's 5 years cap price servicing, and services average at $528, which is fairly competitive. Servicing intervals are every 12 months or a longer than usual 20,000 Ks, which is pretty good. This earns some points with the driving performance and luxury seats, especially that driver's seat. I love the flexibility of the cargo space and the width of the middle seat. I feel like it gives good options for families. However, I think the headroom could definitely be better, and I don't love the blurry camera system. It was also quite disappointing that it was missing an important safety feature with the curtain airbag in the third row, meaning it's not going to suit all families. So I give it an 8 out of 10. My son really liked his picnic tray, blind and sunroof, and because he thought it looked so cool, he gives it a 10 out of 10. If you're after more details, check out the full review at the CarsGuide site. The link will be in the description, and I'll see you next week. Au revoir.